coaches, we have a 10-star diamond coach that has really left her fingerprint on this business. She's doing some remarkable things. Let me tell you just a little bit about her. She is a 10-star diamond coach with 17 lifetime diamonds on her team. She is really developing leadership within her group. She spent 36 months in Success Club, which makes her a Success Club 10 All-Star and a Success Club 5 All-Star legend. She has 9 coaches on her team that have rank advanced in the last 90 days. And that's really what leadership is also is about, is duplicating yourself and helping other leaders. And she is certainly doing that. She's a 2014 elite coach. She is from Wakefield, Massachusetts. We're excited to have on the call Elizabeth Hartke. So, Elizabeth, are you there?
I'm here, Jeff.
Are you so excited to be on this call on Labor Day?
I am so excited, and I'm so humbled to be on here with you.
Well, I don't know if it's me that would make you humble, but you know what? In all seriousness, we're really thrilled to have you on this call with us today. It's been fun to watch you as a coach and as a leader develop, and you're one of those people that kind of hit the radar screen, and people started talking about Elizabeth and the way she approaches her business and the spirit and the heart and the professionalism that you've brought to it. And certainly that has not culminated, but it's gotten you to a point now in your business where you've done some pretty amazing things. So congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Well, listen, let's jump in. Pete, again, at the beginning of these calls, we always throw out a lot of accolades and things that people have achieved. But like everyone, you just started the business like everybody else. How did you come to get to know Beachbody?
For me, it really was about health first. I didn't know a business opportunity existed, and I had been an athlete, an active girl my whole life. And then I had my first knee surgery and my second one, and it just kept going. I had several knee surgeries, and the weight I packed it on. And I used my knees for an excuse as to why I couldn't continue to lose weight and why I just kept putting it on. And at the same time that I was settling in my health, I was settling in other areas of my life, especially my career. I graduated from a good college, followed the status quo, got the good job in corporate marketing, and I started working for a large medical supply company, and you won't believe what they had me marketing for them. I was actually doing the marketing for obesity products, and I'm not kidding. And it would have been fine if I weren't doing marketing for products that actually help people remain obese. My favorite one was the sandwich shovel. It helps people eat their sandwiches more efficiently. So that was a little bit of it was a little bit of a rock bottom moment for me, and I had no passion for what I was doing. But I was the best daydreamer you'd ever meet. I could drift off into a daydream while talking to my boss and going through our checklist for the day. And I was always wanting to start my own business and be an entrepreneur, and I had that spirit, but it was always a dream. I was never working towards it. And one day, thank God, I went to this yoga studio, and I saw a brochure for Shakeology. And I knew it was time to make a change. So I did a ton of research. I was a huge skeptic about it, but once I saw all the reasons why I had to try it, I did. And 50 pounds later, after committing to drinking my shake every day and doing P90X, I was, at the very least, a believer in the products. But when my coach reached out to me about coaching, I don't think I was the most pleasant person. I gave him the whole, I don't know you, I don't believe you, I definitely don't want any part of your scam. I think he can probably attest to this, but I think I even half-jokingly sent him a picture of me at the shooting range to drive the point home not to mess with me about it.
So don't mess with Elizabeth and the sandwich shovel, huh?
Yeah, exactly. But my coach, Keith, he met me where I was at in my life, and he built a relationship. I didn't know him before this. He built a relationship with me that was grounded in trust, and that was the only reason that I ended up opening my mind to learning about this opportunity. And it was 100% because of his efforts to connect with me and build confidence in me that I took that first step. And I got to know him and what he'd built through this opportunity for his family, And I wanted that. I wanted that for me. I wanted that for my family. And I remember I reached out to him to ask him about Shakeology, and he got back to me right away and said, hey, thanks for reaching out, but today I'm spending the day with my family. I'll get back to you tomorrow. And I had instant respect for him, and I realized this was something I could grow into something powerful, but also something that allowed me to put my priorities first. And I wanted to give that gift to as many people as I could.
Well, I bet you there's a whole conference call alone just on this upline coach who build a relationship of trust. I know you're going to touch on that a bit today, but congratulations on one, just what you've done. But most coaches have one of those moments right in their business where, and usually it kind of comes looking back on when it happened. But as you were moving along in your business, did you have one of those times where things started to click, where you felt like you got traction or saw things differently?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I've had a lot of those little aha moments along the journey, but the one that stands out to me is, when I first started out, I hit diamond really quickly in my first month, but there was no depth there. I was focusing on numbers and points and challenge packs, not people. And with less than 2 weeks out from qualifying for potentially what would be my first leadership retreat experience, I remember I was still a diamond, and I said to my coach, I guess I'll try for next year. And what he said to me shifted my mindset from that moment forward. He said, why would you wait till next year? The deadline hasn't passed yet. And it totally blew my mind, because the whole time I was thinking with such limitations, how could I achieve, what I needed to achieve to start to be at that leadership conference? How could I qualify in time? It was impossible to me in my mind, but he helped me believe in what was possible. And in that short time, I was able to build that depth in my business by connecting with two of my coaches who did want to work the business but didn't know how to get started. And because I focused on those two coaches and their goals, it helped me hit mine. And opening myself up to that thought process has changed everything moving forward.
Well, again, I love the concept of, why not this year? The deadline hasn't come and gone, and pushing yourself and really saying, what could be and what do I lose by doing that? And obviously the proof is in what you have been able to accomplish. I mean, it's like you're a 10-star diamond coach. You're relatively new to the business. So you're doing some things right. We always say success leaves clues. So there's got to be some clues that you can share as to what you've done to create that kind of success.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I've learned, if I can sum it up in a thought, is that it's really not my job to persuade people to do something that they don't want to do. It's my job to persuade people to do what they've always wanted to do, but they haven't had the courage or the support to do it. And I think,
so, go ahead.
How do you recognize people who have that desire for something more, but they haven't started working for it themselves? And for me, the answer has always been, you have to connect with them. You have to put them first. You have to care about them. And above all else, you have to believe in them before they even really believe in themselves.
So a lot of this sounds like, that's common sense, right? But as often is the case, common sense isn't common practice. So you've done some things to accomplish that. Tell us a little more about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I had mentioned before my business really lacked the depth. I was focusing on hustling challenge packs and bringing on discount coaches and pushing for Success Club, but it had nothing to do with anyone but me. I wasn't really relating to people, the ones that I was committing to help. So I assumed I wasn't finding business builders, but the reality is that I just wasn't developing them yet. I hadn't started working with them and connecting with them. And I had to stop focusing on those numbers first and focus on the people first. So what could I do to go above and beyond to leave my stamp on the hearts of the people that I was seeking to touch, the lives that I wanted to work with? And to break it down into the first step that I took, it sounds like something we've heard over and over, but one-on-one calls. It was my time to get deeper with these coaches. And I had started originally when a coach would sign on, I would do a getting started right call, and we'd focus on the specs of the business, Success Club and how do you earn and how do you achieve your first rank advancement. I've stopped doing that as the first call. Now I do a getting connected call before our getting started right call. I ask questions. It's my chance to get to know the person that I'm looking to help. Even if they're a discount coach and they're just looking to get started on their fitness journey, I want to know what their goals are so I can put those goals first. Because that's, for a lot of people, as even discount coaches, I was a discount coach. That fitness journey was a huge starting point for me, and having my coach believe in me through that process was a great step in me getting to want to work the business. And
I was just going to say on this, it's interesting as we talk about get started right, but just changing the word, to getting connected, it changes your paradigm. It changes kind of your whole approach, is the way you approach people and deal with people. So that really, when you said that really jumped out and resonated with me, because I think it does change the way you interact and your motive.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was my chance to ask them, what do you really want? What do you daydream about? What do you not like about your life today? And how can we use this as the opportunity, the vehicle to get you to where you want to go? I wanted to learn about their priorities so I knew how I could better help them. And I had to understand how they tick, too. It's important to know what drives them. Do they respond well to tough love? Do they like recognition? Is it about fulfillment? So that you know what to give them as being their leader. And then we could go into the getting started right calls. We could talk about Success Club and those goals that are really important, but they're only important once you develop that trust and that connection with the person you're working with.
So once you've formed that, we'll say connection, or at least got that started in the right direction, what's the next step?
I've noticed that on my team, a lot of people shy away from building the business out of fear. They fear failure or the fear of not knowing where to begin. So right after we get started, we get connected, we're rolling. I want them to have access to the resources that are going to help them get started right. I give them my scripts so they know how I speak to the products or the coaching opportunity, and they can become more familiar and comfortable with that process. I teach them how to be resourceful coaches, independent, so that they feel confident in what they're doing. So I train them very quickly on here's how you get to the FAQs, and here's what you utilize the team page for, and how you operate the online office. And then I also have found that people fear objections. They already start anticipating, well, I'm not even going to reach out to that person because they're going to say no. So we talk about what are those potential objections and how do you address them. And right then and there, they already have that added level of lifting their head high and I can do this. I know how I can help these people because I can work through those struggles with them. Then they aren't just fitting into a mold of what they thought a coach was. They're molding this business to fit them. They're using the resources, and that allows for so many more people to open their minds to where they can take this.
So a lot of times coaches don't know, what's realistic and what's not realistic. Do you go through a goal-setting process with them?
I do. I actually started doing something that's been working really well. So I mentioned that coaches get a little overwhelmed in the beginning and they don't know how to take that first step. So we just set a 30-day non-negotiable goal. This way we can take one step at a time. We can do it together. Not everyone comes in with the same motivation. Not everyone says, I want to sprint to diamond in my first month. I want to earn 6 figures right away, if they can't even envision what to do first. So we help them to choose a goal and they make it their non-negotiable. They push for 30 days until either they hit it or they fail. And this does two things. It helps them see what's possible, and that's step one in developing a business builder, helping them see the potential. And it builds confidence when they do achieve it. So, for example, if their first goal is Emerald, we work together to help them get there. We use tools like the memory jogger or three-way calls or the sneak peeks. And if at 11:59 on the last day of the month they stop fighting for it, it becomes negotiable. So I remind them that it's not necessarily about achieving the goal, it's about working towards it until the clock runs out. And I've learned from that experience that it's the art of a leader that teaches people to go until midnight. And that's something that my team has adopted, and, they pass on to their teams.
Well, the thing that's nice about that is that was your experience in the business as well from your upline coach, is that, you know what, the time hasn't run yet, so you keep going until that time, so you can speak with great authority, which is that concept of speed of the leader, speed of the tack. So then what happens next?
Well, I know the importance of creating systems. You're talking to someone right now, Jeff, that's just by nature a total tornado. So this was a really good exercise for me because I found I had a lot of coaches that were falling through the cracks. They were either quitting or they stopped working the business or they were working it really intermittently because they felt really overwhelmed when they were starting out. So I had to find a way to simplify those systems and those resources and give better opportunities for my team to thrive. My theory personally is, you know, the foundation of all we do throughout the course of the day, the coach should be able to fit on one whiteboard. It might be an enormous whiteboard, but I like to have it right up in front of me, and I taught my coaches what to put on that whiteboard. So to run through a couple of those things that I think are really helpful. My team struggled with using the business activity tracker, maybe because they're like me and a spreadsheet makes them want to hurl or pass out or something. So we created a printable checklist or a checklist that they could write on their whiteboard that just had the behavior or the activity that they should do each day, and then they knew if they were doing it or not. Was it getting checked off or not? Another thing that went on the whiteboard that I spoke a little bit about in a Super Saturday video a little while back is the 10 in play. And I think this is one of the best, most simple tools that a coach can use. It's essentially your pipeline, right? So your 10 in play has numbered 1 through 10, and you have your 10 people that you're currently talking to that you believe are, you know, about to take that next step with you, and the reasons why you're talking to them. So I'm talking to Jeff Hill because he wants to learn more about the business opportunity, and I'm talking to Carl Degler because he wants to learn more about Brazil butt lift. And I just know exactly what each person I'm talking to.
How did you know?
Well, I just, you know, I had a feeling.
Intuitive.
Yeah, so that goes up on the board as well, and that's been huge because the team feels better about themselves when they know what they're focusing on. If they're working towards diamond, they draw out their little diamond tracker. If they're already at diamond and they're trying to help their coaches get to diamond, they draw out their coach's diamond tracker so they know exactly where their coaches stand. And it's just a simple way to have all the things you need to be focusing on as a coach right there on your whiteboard and your pretty little colors, and you can check them off and circle them and, you know, erase and rewrite it. And it's just been a simplified system that's really worked well for my coaches that were struggling with that in the beginning.
Okay. So, Elizabeth, we've got about 5 minutes left, and we need to wrap. So as you look at the rest of this process, how would you share that with everyone that's on this call?
I think the biggest thing is just remembering to put others first. One last thing that I do that has been really powerful is I put a picture of the coaches that I'm helping, just a small little printout that I put on my desk or taped up on my whiteboard with their goals written next to it, so I can start visualizing their success. And in doing that, it just changed everything for me. I'm now a part of a team that gets it. You know, I get to see people building relationships and working to help one another. And so many coaches have come out of the woodwork because they want to build a real business. They understand the potential, and they understand this is about helping others, and that's really fulfilling for them. And I've seen so many of my downline coaches and my personally sponsored coaches, they've related to my journey. They've related to how our team really prides themselves on building with faith and integrity and the things that are so important and putting other people's goals first. And it's awesome to see them live their dreams through this opportunity. They understand what's possible now.
Well, you keep coming back to this one piece of just connecting, and obviously there is some, if you will, technique, and there's some systems and things that help you do that so that it becomes more predictable with people. But I've always found that if your intent is in the right place, you can get past an absence. I don't want to say a complete absence, but of technique. And just listening to you talk about this as you get started with people, as you follow up people, it's clear that the connection there is something really of an authentic nature that people are going to sense. And people want to, we always say this, people do business with people that they know, like, and trust. And they're not doing business with Beachbody, they're doing business with Elizabeth Hartke because they know, like, and trust her through the connections that you've made. So pretty great story there, Elizabeth. As you we do need to wrap here, but as you look back over this really kind of what I consider to be a fairly short history with Beachbody, how has it changed your life?
Jeff, it's so hard to put into words, but I can tell you that I'm not living the same life anymore. And it's not even about the financial freedom or even the freedom of time, which is such a gift. I've had two dreams my whole life. They've been to be home to raise my family and build that family on a foundation of faith and integrity. And the other one has always been that entrepreneurial spirit that's been haunting me. I just wanted to build a business that allowed me to do that, to be home with my family, but something that allowed me to help others live their dreams. And I have both of those things thanks to this opportunity. And take it from a new mom who has been there so far for every little first with her baby, being able to leave corporate and be home and raise our son. It's worth every bit of sweat equity you can muster up the strength to put into this thing. And it stands out in my mind. There's a verse in the Bible that reminds us that iron sharpens iron. So as you work to develop your coaches into business builders, they at the same time will be sharpening you into the leader you were born to become. And I'm so thankful that I opened my mind to learning more about coaching and then taking that first step and connecting with all these people along the way.
Well, Elizabeth, extremely well stated. Thank you so much. So glad that you chose not to pursue a career in the sandwich shoveler, but that you're here with Beachbody, and like you said, it's a deal where I love that combination of you're living out a lot of pieces that mean so important to you and satisfying that entrepreneurial spirit, but you're bringing a sharp focus to it. But thank you so much, and congratulations to all your success, and congratulations on being a new mom as well. I know you're loving that to pieces.
I am, and thank you, Jeff, for your leadership as well. It's been great getting to work with a team of people like you guys, for sure.
No, I appreciate that. Well, coaches, lots of food for thought there as you build your business and as you present the business opportunity. Okay, we're going to close this call, but we're going to close this call with a guy that knows a lot about building business and has tremendous passion. It's our co-founder and CEO, Carl Deichler. Carl, are you on the line still with us?
Of course I was. I'm in the middle of working on my boom boom. Elizabeth was quite compelling, and she discovered my why, and my boom boom is my why, Jeff. So anyway.
I wanted to say it, but I thought I'd leave it to her. So
no, she's fantastic, and that was a great, quite inspiring and quite amazing. That's the kind of stuff, the stuff that she's talking about is what I try to tell people or suggest to people, this idea of, having it be very visceral at your desk, a picture of the coach that you're trying to help or the customer that you're trying to bring along, and what is their goal. You just make a wall of this stuff, a cork board or something, and keep it in front of you. I love this idea of the top 10 in play, even if they're the CEO and his odd fascination with Brazil butt lift. But Elizabeth, great job. And the only reason I really wanted to jump on this